are back today for the FA Cup, is what I thought I was going to say. We've only gone and bottled it against QPR. I wasn't really sure where to take the intro from that result a week ago, but you know what? There's find some positives. I've got my youth intake. Arrives 15th of March, 2 elite prospects. And those two players are Kalian Rieger and Will Weston. Will Weston, Willy Boy. It's a fun name, isn't it? Will Weston sounds like a baller. Left-footed, great pace, nice determination as well. Fairly professional personality will help his development. I'll admit he's very raw and needs improvement, but he's 15, he looks good. Rieger was listed as having slightly better potential, 13 crossing, great first touch, 19 determination, you love to see that. He does not look too bad, he can play on the left and right. With these kind of players that come through the academy, I'm going to have to make a decision as to, am I converting them to be our wide players that tuck in and play at centre attacking mid, or am I making him a wing back? I think he had 1 marking and 3 tackling, so he's probably going to be one of the central players. There is actually one other player here who looks like he could be quite good. Lyndon Dixon is a left back as well, but actually probably more of a centre back. Not bad aerial ability, but he's got really good mentals and at least starting defending. I'm looking at the bravery and kind of what he's got on offer here. He is not too bad. I didn't really acknowledge it. I tried not to look at their faces that much. Yeah, the regen faces aren't that good, are they, in FM26? Right now in game, it's the 15th of March. We're sat in 3rd place, and it's a bit of a weird season. I'm going to play a couple more games. I think our plan today might be to play 1 league game, and then just get to the end of the season and wrap it up. We only have the league left to focus on. We've underperformed in the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup was a disappointment. I'm going to try and end things with a little bit of a high. Okay, folks, well, it is a month since I last talked to you. As I mentioned, the league's been the focus, and the league is going well. We are suddenly up to 2nd, and dare I say, we're looking pretty good for a top 4 finish now. Newcastle in 5th are 9 points behind us with only 7 games left. Now, I left things last time and we were playing Fulham on the 30th of January, and while there was a couple of days left of the transfer window, I did the business. I'm not sure why I said it like that. Also, it sounded like I've just shit myself or something, didn't it? Pardon my French. Are you allowed to swear this early in YouTube videos without being demonetised? I don't know. Anyway, Seri Kinte, we confirmed the signing of. We were looking to sign him last episode. That one got over the line, and then he went and broke his ankle. So that was good. But we did sign one really exciting player for the future in Ryan. The 19-year-old signed from Vasco da Gama, where I've loaned him back for another 6 months, so he will join us in the summer. He has continued to improve whilst playing in Brazil. Looking at his valuation, I know what you're thinking, Jack. How much have you paid for this man? Let me tell you now, I think this is an absolute bargain. £13 million was his release clause. He is tearing it up in Brazil. And I feel like he's going to be good enough to be my backup striker behind Sesko next year. Is that a mad thing to say? He can also play out on the right side of midfield, so that could be a useful string to his bow. Admittedly, you know, he is a bit of a step down from Sesko. But the boy is 19. You might have noticed he was on £100,000 a week. We don't talk about that bit of the deal. I mean, saying all of that, there's actually still £40,000 free on the wage budget and a load of transfer budget. So you know what? I'll spend the money that I am given. Now, I did say following the QPR game, my intention was to finish the season today. That is still very much the aim. Since last episode, 9 games played, only 7 of these in the league. Obviously, we did previously beat Fulham to end the month of January on a high. And from there, we had a really, really good February with wins against Spurs, West Ham, Stockport, Crystal Palace in there. We did lose against Everton 3-0. But even this game here, I kind of look at the stats and just think, I feel like it was a little bit harsh. The month of March was a weird one because we managed to get, well, 2 wins, a loss, and a draw. Despite all of that, Sesko got Player of the Month in the Premier League. Yeah, I don't really know how to make sense of it either, because it felt like a bad month on the pitch, having lost to QPR in this run of games. But in the 3 Premier League games, Sesko popped up with goals. He's now got 18 goals in 29 games for the season, which is a really good performance, and he's massively overperforming his XG, so he is looking like a natural-born finisher. Just going to hope he continues to progress. Having beaten Newcastle 3-1, I was feeling pretty optimistic going into the QPR game, which you already know what it happened in, but it was that last-minute goal they scored, which denied us. I wish I could show you that goal. Normally I have kind of flashback recording on, so I can tap a button and record the last 45 seconds. It failed for this game, and Football Manager in FM26 won't let me watch the goal back. Perhaps the result of the season happened against Aston Villa. We exceeded a 5xG in this game as we won 6-1 at home. An insane performance, really. Mora with 2 assists and a goal to his name. Sesko bagging his first hat-trick, I believe, since we've taken over. A great display there. If there was the slightest sniff of momentum building up after that Aston Villa result, which I said I was delighted about. It was, well, they got rid of it very quickly, the team in this next game. 0-0 against Bournemouth in perhaps the most boring game of the season. Now, looking at the league table, with the recent run of games, we have moved up to second. And as I've already kind of alluded to, I want to end the season today because I'm looking at Newcastle behind us in 5th and Liverpool behind us in 6th. Those teams are in double figures for defeats already this year, which is wild. We're looking pretty nailed on for a Champions League spot. And whilst there is a little bit of a shift in prize money between 2nd, 3rd and 4th, which it looks like we're destined to finish in, I can't see a world where we ever catch Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal this year, I'll be honest, they have just been absolute machines. You kind of look at their run of form. There is just so much green in here, and especially lately, they just haven't really dropped many points. They did also get knocked out the Champions League, so if I wanted to use the whole, well, maybe they'll get distracted by cup competitions, that's kind of gone out the window too. Once upon a time, Mora and Fernandes were running away, weren't they, with the goal scoring in this team. Sesko has emerged from nowhere over the last couple of months to overtake them, but in terms of goal contributions, Fernandes with 28 is absolutely amazing. He is leading the way in terms of assists. Teller has been a little bit of a surprise package because he's been this super sub option, really, who we've stuck on it in the wide areas, in at centre attacking mid when we've needed to, and he has somehow now emerged with 10 assists in 15 starts. Granted, he's got a lot of sub appearances on top of that. He's been a surprise package for me. In terms of top goal scorers in the Premier League, maybe not going to surprise anyone. Erling Haaland leading the way with 29 goals. Voltmada has the next highest. He is on 10 fewer though. And then Sesko is tied with a few people down in 3rd. In terms of assists, that is something where we are leading the way. Bruno with 15 and 133 key passes is absolutely stupendous. Mora is also right up there, to be fair. Within our system, the wide outlet players that are also the kind of the spearheads of our attacks, they have just been setting up a hell of a lot of goals. And I know earlier on in the season I wore our lack of possession as a badge of honour, I'll admit it. The possession's gone up above 40%. It's still the second lowest in the league though, so the fact that we're in second not playing possession football, I don't know, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy to see this is possible. I do wonder if we're slowly building up maybe a slightly more technical team, a team that's going to be more competent on the ball. Maybe there should be games where I do have a slightly different system I revert to, where we do look to dominate possession more. At the same time, it's just quite fun lumping the ball forward. Now, for today's game, I thought we'd have some fun by taking on Leeds United, a bit of a rival to Manchester United historically. Of course, back in the Premier League for the first time in a while. They're actually up in 14th, and for Football Manager fans who might have PTSD from this man, look away now. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still an absolute monster in Football Manager, despite the fact he moved on a free transfer to Leeds United in this universe. 15 goals in 31 games. He's literally the reason they're staying up. I don't know if this is just me, but I have been using the opposition report kind of thing more often this year in FM because it's on the portal screen. It's kind of useful to have a peek in and then look at stuff like the formation analysis with the expected tactic and then formations you can kind of expect. Obviously, this is all stuff that was in Football Manager last year, but I don't know. They've kind of tricked me into using data more just by having it on the portal screen. So I guess Sports Interactive have won in that regard. Now, looking at our team, this is the first time in what feels like forever. My starting 11 is literally my best starting 11 possible. It's such a good team at this point. I really, really like it. Obviously, in and out possession now, our players have got pretty familiar with the roles that they're in. And Buemo is perhaps the one exception. I did just want to double check. I am training him to play at wing-back. He is very, very slowly picking it up in Buemo. I'm hoping he will pick it up eventually, even if it's just, you know, in a semi-competent factor. Because the star rating when he's out of possession is the one thing that's really annoying me. I guess on Mora and Fernandes, it could be a bit better too. To be fair, in the case of Mora and Fernandes, I think they're just like such good attacking players that they're not really good at any of the defending stuff that you need to do in, well, any out-of-possession role. Part of me wonders if the two of them are a little bit of a liability with how we play, the fact that neither of them can defend. But you know what? The back seven as just a really good block has worked quite well. This is certainly the game that I feel like we should be winning, although when we played them away, we did draw 2-2. Looking at this Premier League table, it looks pretty with us in second. I'd like to stay there. Winning this game will help towards that. It's a bit of a meme at this point as well. It's still raining at Old Trafford in this universe. Every single game it's raining. It's like I'm playing Gen 3 Pokemon. 3 out of 10, too much water. I'm being told to tackle Dominic Calvert-Lewin harder. You know what? He's injury prone. He scores lots of goals. Let's make him not score anymore. God, that sounded evil, didn't it? Well, we've had 19% of possession in the first 10 minutes. Not exactly inspiring, although it is maybe swinging slightly more in our favour. The good news is Leeds are having a load of the ball. They're not really creating anything with it so far. Saying all of that, Sean Longstaff is now over a corner, and is he going to give me the Longstaff? He whips it in, and what are we doing? What are we doing here? Who pushed him over? Michael Oliver gives the pen. Who was it? Name and shame them. I can't click on the player now to find out who it was because that doesn't exist this year in Football Manager for some reason. It was apparently Biol pushed De Ligt, or was it Biol was pushed by De Ligt? Be a bit BS, wouldn't it, if our player got pushed and they got the penalty? Anyway, they're on the spot here. I'm scared. It's Struijk with it, and he's going to strike it into the bottom corner. 1-0. Look, earlier on in the season, we went 2-0 down against Leeds. We fought back for a 2-2 draw. We can fight back. We could still get 2 goals in this game, starting right now, maybe. De Ligt plays it wide to Mbeumo, rocking his mohawk, which apparently half the United team have in Football Manager this year. Fernandes with his mohawk. We are the team of mohawks and team of Sesko up top. Scores. It's not going to count, though. If there's one thing Football Manager unintentionally fixed this year, I don't get annoyed by the VAR lines on the pitch for offsides, because there's no lines anymore. I mean, it was a great response to going a goal down to score. Just a shame about the flag. Okay, we've got a free kick, I think, in the corner here. Bruno's going to whip it in, and oh my word, Murillo heads it in, makes it 1-1. Fernandes adds another assist for the season. We have scored a fair amount of free kicks, kind of, and headed goals. I do think that is largely just due to the fact that we play with 3 centre-backs, and they're all pretty good players in the air in their own right. We have so many aerial threats, and of course we've got Sesko up front, who's also very good in the air. Couple of minutes left of this first half. Why have they got a free kick? Tanaka scored one against me earlier this year. Surely not again. It hits the woodwork. And it goes out for a goal kick. That was scary. It's been an even game so far, but I feel like we can do better. I'm going to tell the players. I don't really know how we're not winning. The fans expect to win. Don't let them down. You know what? This is considered a local derby. And then we'll just do the classic. You have the ability to make a difference. You know, it's a new Football Manager. It's the same team talks. We know what works. Although it hasn't really worked here today. Red and Lodi throw in on the far side. I can just about see it through the rain lashing down. It's a torrential downpour here in the north of England as Fernandes has the ball. Already 1 assist to his name here. Gives it to Mbeumo. Could look to switch it. Does switch it. Mora charging through the middle. Through on goal. Probably should do better. Looking at the stats in this game, we've started this second half emphatically. Loads of chances. No goal yet. Maybe that could change here. We've scored a set piece already, and Mbeumo whips it. Murillo already has one. Perry doesn't deal with it convincingly. Fernandes keeps it alive, and Mbeumo shoots. I thought that was going in. It was saved, apparently. I feel like we're looking good in this game, but we can definitely take our performance to the next level. I'm looking at Dorgu, who's not been great at left-back. I'm thinking about all those assists Teller has got. Elsewhere, Garturner booking, I don't love. Mora's been quiet as well. I'm going to bring in Cunha to play as that shadow striker. Trio of changes made. One of them on the ball now. Basuma charging forward. Gets it into a dangerous area, and Mbeumo puts it in. It's cleared away, and now Leeds maybe looking to hit us on the counter-attack. Calvert-Lewin bringing it forward. Murillo has to get back into position and does so. There's an overload on the far side, though, if we're not careful. As Calvert-Lewin charges forward, he's tackled. Ball's whipped in. Tanaka, from an impossible angle, has somehow squeezed that in on the volley. I mean, you know what? Fair enough. I thought Calvert-Lewin was going to score a wonder goal. Instead, it fell to Notto. He put it in. And then Tanaka from this angle here. Like, this is a mad finish. Should the keeper have done better, maybe? Maybe he should have. We went attacking and conceded 2 minutes later. That is a tactical masterclass. You know what, though? There's still time. We've looked good in this game. I wouldn't bet against us scoring. Maybe it could happen here. De Ligt has his header parried wide. Sesko is on a 6.7. I'm going to take him off and bring in Xerxes, who, I'll be honest, when I've given game time to, he's just not been that good this year. When you look at his seasonal stats, just on the overall balance, 3 goals, 6.79 rating. To be fair, he's not got that many opportunities. Kobe Mainu is on a 6.28. Excuse me, get off the pitch. Yeah, I am going to have to bring in Lewis Miley here. The young January addition to the team. Hopefully going to just get some more fresh legs into the midfield that can inspire a late resurgence. We've got 14 minutes. The ball is lumped forward. Header is won by Teller. Cunha now going to keep it alive. The subs haven't gone through yet. Cunha, number 10, floats it in. Bruno's under it, cleared away. And Mbeumo looking to keep it alive on the far side, though. He whips it in on his left foot. It's floating. Teller's under it. Falls to Cunha. It's 2-2. I'm going to stick with the changes we've made. But we're back in this game again. Mbeumo, a right wing back. Some people have described it as football terrorism. I think it's genius. He's been very good in that role. Danny James with not the best of headers against his former club, and the finish was not too shabby. Okay, 10 minutes left. I'm staying on attacking. We are going for this here. It's Mbeumo at right wing back, bringing it forward again, whipping it in. Xerxes under it, takes it down, gives it to Teller, turns. Murillo, The centre-back shoots. Imagine if that had gone in. Imagine the absolute limbs. Instead, though, it's Tanaka running into danger. Cunha gifted the ball. Xerxes. Bruno. He had all the time in the world. Why did he shoot? We drew against them 2-2 earlier on this year. I feel like this isn't going to be 2-2. I feel like someone's going to win 3-2. Could it be Leeds? Tanaka over a free kick. Not in a rush to take it, it has to be said. A little bit of the dark arts of time wasting as it's given short to Calvert-Lewin, but lumped away. Bruno doesn't win the header, but it's not in a great direction as it falls to Dan James, who, I don't know if that was a shot or a pass. It's something like nearly squeezed in. You know what? 87th minute. Very attacking. YOLO. 3 minutes of added time. Is there any late drama here at Old Trafford? There's not. Or is there? No, there's still not. There's still not. 2-2 is how this game is going to finish. We fought back from behind twice. And that is now twice this year I failed to beat Leeds. I'm not happy with that. We should be beating our rivals. I mean, look at the ratings. They're just a bit sad. At least the players we subbed on played okay. With that result there, we do drop down to third with 6 games left of the season. We're still comfortably ahead of Liverpool and Newcastle, though. And well, barring any late absolute meltdown, I think my plan now is just to finish off the season. I'm going to go away and play it off camera. Then we could take a little bit of a retrospective look at the squad, look at how we got on in the last few games of the year, and discuss next season's plans ahead of a transfer special tomorrow. Okay, folks, we are back for a post-season debrief. You can see the transfer budget that was set upon our, well, securing of Champions League football. Spoilers, we did get that top 4 finish. £91 million in the bank balance. £207,000 in wages as well, to be honest. I think the plan is going to be to move on some players, then look to reinvest in 1 or 2 kind of superstars. I feel like this year with the transfers, we kind of laid a foundation of depth, and now it's really about bringing in some key players who are going to be match winners for us. Now, in terms of our end to the season, a little bit of a mixed bag in the end. We followed on from the Leeds game with a 3-1 defeat against Chelsea. The only silver lining in all of this, Bruno broke the record for fastest goal I've seen in Football Manager, and it was kind of the record-setting game. He scored in the first minute. From there, though, we did ship free. After that, we beat Brentford 3-0. Bruno with 2 more goals in that one before a draw at home against Liverpool. Ugarte in this game sent on in the 89th minute. Isak got one back for them in the 93rd. And from here, we kind of just knew our fate. 2-2 against Fulham, 1-0 against Nottingham Forest. We did lose against Brighton on the final day of the season, which was a bit disappointing, because with that result, Tottenham were able to leapfrog us, and in the end, we ended up finishing 3rd. But you know what? In retrospect, still a very, very good season, comfortably clear of Liverpool and Newcastle in the end. And as for Arsenal, well, no one ever really looked like catching them this year. You can see here, in terms of our end-of-season review, it was a memorable season as we defied all expectations. You know what? I'm going to take that. Naturally, going into the season, the expectation ultimately was, let's get European football in the Europa League. And well, we've done a little bit better than that. You can see the aim for the upcoming season is to be competitive in the Champions League. Less of that. I want to make the knockouts. And as for the Europa League, that is what they want us to qualify for again next year. A little bit surprised that isn't a higher aim. In terms of the Sport rating, they've given us a B-. The supporters are pretty happy with the team. Admittedly, a couple of the defeats they're not happy with. And Rodrigo Mora, I didn't really mention it, he had a very, very slow end to the season. A 6.72 rating in his last 5 games, which was just a little bit of a sad note to end on. Sesko did end up being our top goal scorer, only grabbed a couple of goals after the Leeds game. Yeah, everyone just had a little bit of a slow end to the year. Bruno was our standout man throughout this year. He got the most assists in the Premier League with 16 and also bagged 15 goals. Admittedly, 8 of those were penalties. I'll admit, I was kind of surprised at 8 penalties. That is a lot to get in a season, and I wondered if that was a trend in the match engine, but having looked at the other goal scorers here, it doesn't seem that high. Jimenez had 5 penalties scored. Haaland took 5 penalties. Palmer took 5 as well. But yeah, is 8 penalties too many? I'm sure it's happened in Premier League history before. Just in terms of average rating, Predrag Rajkovic actually played quite well when I called upon him. Played a couple of games in the Premier League and a handful in the Cup. I do wonder if I should be playing him over Lamans. When you compare the two of them here, I think the Serb might have the little advantage. Of course, he is on the older side. In reality, I think I'm probably overdue an upgrade on both of them. Despite his slow end to the year, Rodrigo Mora did show some really, really good improvements this year. Yeah, I mean, look, his average rating was good across the season. And for a player that we spent £60 million on, I do feel like we got our money's worth. I paid that money for his potential. I didn't expect him to contribute like this right away. But what a foundational season to build off. Patrick Dorgu had a good season on the pitch. In terms of performances, I didn't really see them, but he has now picked up left midfielder as a position, so hopefully we're going to actually see him start to fulfill his potential with actual improvements going forward. He's the kind of player who, when I look at his star rating, he's one of the weakest on kind of the starting 11 I've got blocked out, but with his age, I feel like I just want to give him more time. Now, in terms of general squad building, Harry Maguire will be leaving the club at the end of his contract. So that is going to be £200,000 we can save. Didn't really use him much this year, and obviously we've really added some quality centre-backs. His services just aren't needed. Malacia is another man who's leaving at the end of his contract, and Jadon Sancho is also going to be leaving. His contract is running down. Have got to decide what I'm going to do with the likes of Onana, who is coming back to the club. I mean, Onana's actually still quite good in Football Manager. Rasmus Højlund as well is really someone I've not given much thought to. I don't know. Do Napoli have an option to buy him here? I'm actually not sure. Okay, they have the option to sign him for 38 million. They've not made an offer for him yet, and they have no interest in making an offer right now. I don't know what I'm going to do with Højlund, because I actually don't think he's the worst footballer in the world, but I've already got Ryan, and he has improved so much in his time in Brazil. I think he might already be better than Højlund. The other man who we do have on our books is Marcus Rashford, of course, on loan at Barcelona. They have an option to sign him for 30 million. If they sign him, great. If not, I might look to sell him. I might look to use him. I've not really thought about what I'm going to do with Rashford yet. And in terms of other first team players that I'd like to move on, I totally forgot about this. I left last episode, didn't I, talking about selling Mazraoui, or rather, loaning him to Crystal Palace with a mandatory fee. He turned down the loan offer to them. So he is still here. There is interest in him. I haven't really used him this year. He just needs to go. One option I do need to think about is Willy Cambuala, because he is a very good centre-back at Villarreal, who hasn't really been given that much game time, but I do have the option to buy him back for 21 million. And I kind of wonder if I should just buy him back, because whilst I don't need centre-backs, he'd be pretty useful. And I'm almost certain to be able to make money on him longer term. I'll lodge that one in the back of my mind for later, but I think it's worth considering. I have an end-of-season meeting with the players, but half the squad's already gone to the World Cup, so it's just an empty room and feels a bit sad. Well, they're all happy, so that's good. And with that, this season is in the books. You can see here, apparently we didn't progress to the Europa League in the Premier League. Sorry that I didn't achieve Europa League football, the board. It's not like we got Champions League football. Obviously, from a transfer point of view, we spent a lot of money this year, but I do feel like we saw kind of rewards on the pitch. And you can see in general here, the finances did take a little bit of a tumble, but with us now getting Champions League money again, hopefully that will look to offset that. Now, in terms of the aim for next year, I think it is to go for the title if we can. In order to go for it, I definitely think we need some upgrades. I have started blocking out a team for next year. I do feel like a defensive midfielder, I could be due an upgrade. Ugarte, right? Good player. Don't know if he's great. There's some interest in him from some pretty big teams that are going to have a lot of money. If I get a bit of like £60 million, I'd be tempted to take it and then go really big for like a great defensive midfielder. Like, don't get me wrong, Ugarte's a pretty good player, but we brought in Basuma this year to be a squad player, and with the exception of the mentals, I think Basuma, it's fair to say, has a little bit of an edge. I think that's something to consider, as could be the departure of Cunha. I have really not used Cunha enough this year. We have started him in 3 games, subbed him on it in 28. I wish I could say he's been a super sub, but he's just kind of been a regular sub. He's a good player, but at 26 years old, I'm not envisaging him improving that much more. And I do feel like there's probably just some better options out there. He's only really been an impact sub for us this year, expected to be a regular starter. I have a feeling he's going to kick up a stink. I mean, I already know he's asked to leave. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to pay the kind of money I think we should be getting for him, though. Anyway, folks, if you have done a Manchester United save of your own, let me know how you got on in your first season. And if you have been playing Football Manager, if you've got any transfer targets, let me know who I could maybe go after for that defensive mid position, because I think that's going to be the big one for us. Besides all of that, thank you so much for watching today's video and the series so far. If you're new to the channel, make sure to be subscribed. And it does go without saying, if you're someone who's come back to the channel after a little bit of a break, I have been changing up how I do my videos when it comes to these career mode videos. Fewer episodes a season, get into the big games quicker, and also just editing down things into a more compact package. Hopefully you've been enjoying it. I'll be back same time and place as always tomorrow at midday. Be here or be sphere. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.